Welcome back to Studio 5. So at some time or another, each of us is bitten with the paralysis of analysis, or the plague of overthinking, right? Yeah. Some of us more often than others. Yeah. The problem with overthinking, however, is usually a lack of forward progress, and really it stumps the growth in your life.
So we have to get some help here. Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend has 4 steps that will help you overcome the trap of overthinking. Why do we do this?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, some people, I think, do it because they just are trying to avoid. Some people do it because they have psychological problems. Some might have OCD, and they're just obsessing, and they keep thinking and thinking and thinking. Some just don't know what to do. Some have too many choices. Have you ever had too many choices?
Yeah.
We
too
call
many
that
good choices
too many
sometimes.
good choices. So part of it is just too much.
To sort it through it. You just say, I'll just worry about it.
We live in a time of abundance, and we have all of this abundance going on. But I don't care if you have too many good choices. That's probably okay to be thinking a lot. The key is eventually we've got to move. We've got to act. We've got to do something.
Do you find men or women struggle with this the most?
Yes.
Both? Really?
Yeah, I think they both do. I think women do a little bit more. I don't think men think as much. Like, literally, when a wife says, what are you thinking? And man says nothing. We literally mean nothing.
Yeah.
I think we have the ability maybe to turn it off a little bit more.
Okay.
But it's a big deal. 4 steps we're going to talk about, okay? And again, not all thoughts or overthinking is bad. It's just if it's costing you something. So step number 1, are you ready for this? And we're going to take you guys through it.
Okay.
And then we're going to get some of those negative thoughts out of you, if we could find one. First step, recognize if your thinking patterns tend to lift you or lower you. Do you notice that the way you think tends to exhaust you or strengthen you? Do you tend to feel invigorated after all these long thoughts? You tend to not be able to go to sleep. Do you tend to struggle? Can't get them out? Would do anything? You're starting to drink, do drugs, do NyQuil just to go to sleep at night? It's a big deal, isn't it? So the idea is whatever our thinking is going to create our actions, our life, our happiness. So if we tend to be obsessing about negative thoughts and it's lowering our health, our strength, I need you to pay attention to that. What do you think you should do if you start noticing, I don't think very positive thoughts?
Well, you could just stop thinking. That's always
How do you
one
do
option
that?
right there.
It's especially like, what if it's your daughter, and what about my daughter, and if that happens to her, then this is going to happen, and I'm so scared, and I don't want to. So you just obsess about it all night. How do you turn that off? I bet you there's a million listeners, or what do you call them?
Viewers,
watchers. There's a million watchers right now that are trying to figure that out. One thing I need you to identify first. Do you have a lifting or a lowering thought pattern?
And I think that right there would be huge, because a lot of times if you're thinking about something, you're right, it can strengthen you and invigorate you.
And motivate you.
Propel
and
you
drive
forward.
You.
So it's when you're being held up that it's the problem.
That's what I'd call it overthinking. If it's being held back, you're starting to have overthinking problems, okay? Second rule, though, is once you've got it, you need to redirect your thinking from what concerns you to what you can influence about those concerns. I may be worried after watching the tsunami in Japan that we're going to have a natural disaster here. I can freak out about it. I can be afraid of it. I can go watch the YouTube videos about Japan. I can watch all of this stuff. Or I can start focusing on what I can influence about a natural disaster, which would be what?
Getting ready, getting prepared.
Getting ready. Do I have a plan? Do I have a preparedness kit? Do our family have a communication plan? Those are things that if you're going to exercise your thinking on, exercise it on what you have influence over. The principle is whatever you focus your time and attention and thoughts on is going to grow. If you focus on where you have concerns, your concerns will grow. If you focus it where you have influence, your influence on those concerns grows.
So just stop thinking about the concerns of you have no influence over and start putting it into action.
And take it and say, great, I'm really concerned about my daughter going away to college. What is it that I can influence about that? Well, I can influence that we're going to have great Sunday dinners that'll draw her back. I can make sure I'm communicating with her regularly. I can make sure she's in a safe place.
You can't influence if there's boys hanging around her apartment.
Exactly right,
you can't influence if she's going to study at night or whatever.
That's right. Well, she's going to study, dang it.
And she better. It kind of comes back to that old saying, change the things you can't accept and accept the things you cannot change.
And that's like,
you got to put it away.
That's it. And if you don't, guess what you do? Then you're stuck in that stinking thinking that's going to hold you back, and you're just going to be brought down into this hopeless state. When we focus on what we can influence, it's pretty powerful. Now that we know that we can influence something, then what should we do?
We're hoping you're going to tell us.
Well, good. Here we go. You should use your time and energy to act on what you can influence, not just think about it. So now that you know what you can influence, you know your thinking brings you down, you focus where you can influence, and then you start acting on it. Research shows if you have a problem and you have a plan and you act on it, you're going to feel more optimal. You're going to feel better with a plan that you act on. You're going to feel more inclined to stew and think and obsess when you don't have a plan. and you're not acting.
You know what? It's why I write a to-do list every day at the end of the night.
That's
because
right.
I can get it out of my head, and I know what I need to do when I wake up, and I don't need to think about what I need to do.
Now look at you. You're already on to step 4.
Gold star?
Gold star. Bing. Think about it. No, don't. Think about this. Once you've got the plan and you're acting on it, the 4th step is very simple, right? I need you to turn your thoughts into other things, other energy. You turn that list of to-dos, which I would just kind of call neutral thoughts, you turn it into a list, a to-do list. If you have positive thoughts, like, oh my heck, that was the funnest trip, that was so fun to be with our friends, dinner was so great with those guys, what could you do to turn those thoughts into something? How do you turn a thought about a great night with your friends into something?
Would you capture them somehow with some memorable thing like
a
that?
note,
Yeah.
Facebook, call them, text them, something that gets it out of you. As long as the thought is being thought and not acted upon, guess what? It's going to be stuck in you. Now check this out. Positive thoughts, I'd Facebook, I'd journal, I'd scrapbook, I'd blog.
So you're saying even positive thoughts can hang you up sometimes?
Oh, sure. I mean, how many times have you been so excited you couldn't go to sleep at night? Because that guy was so cute. Oh my gosh, that guy was so cute. I do that all the time. That's where I journal it. Oh, that was a great day. That was so fun, or whatever. Okay. The second thoughts, though, are the technical thoughts. Like, I've got 15 things to do tomorrow. I got to get those done. I would just write those. I'd get them planned. I'd put them in my schedule. Once I got it in my schedule, I can let that thought go. The last thought, though, are the negative thoughts about that really mean lady that lives next to you that never tends your children, even though you tend hers, and she doesn't give. And you now start obsessing about how you just, why am I the only one that works? Okay, here's how do you get rid of those?
Tell us, please.
Okay, you can build a voodoo doll.
Okay, stick
and just
with
poke pins in it.
Option 1.
Which I wouldn't suggest, because that's just scary. Or you can do what I call data dumping. Okay?
Data dumping.
I wouldn't go journal how jacked up, can I say that on TV? How messed up all of your neighbors are, because that's just going to create a negative vibe. So what I do is this, it's called data dumping. Get a journal or a piece of paper, and I would go write, I am so frustrated with Stacy. And then watch, instead of writing another line, I'd write right on top of it. She is selfish and doesn't care about me. What am I going to do
What
with
in the world is this doing?
her?
Aside from making a bunch of
Do you
mess
see
on the
that?
paper.
I call it data dumping because you're now getting the energy out and the thoughts out, and they take no form. Which means once this is out of me, you can't be writing negative thoughts very long before you lose the energy. Just like you can't write in your journal very long before you get tired. Once the energy's out and the thoughts are out, they've taken a form that is formless. You can't read it. And then if you want, you just take it and you crumple it up and you throw it away.
Not trying to hit any one cameraman.
Sorry, Larry. But that's how you get it out of you. And I've seen that one thing, when you can't sleep at night, get up, get out of bed. I've written some of my best talks, some of my best speeches. The best parts of my book was when my head was stewing. And instead of sitting there, I got up, I got them out of me. They leave you, and then you can go to sleep.
But the purpose of the negative thoughts and the data dumping is that you're not allowing them to take form. By writing over and over in that sentence, that's kind of
no one
brilliant.
else can read it. And then you know what I actually like to do? After I've data dumped a lot of stuff, I then like to ask a positive question. What's the most important thing I can do right now to positively impact that negativity?
So you turn it around, you get the positive.
And then I
So you're
come
not
up
just
with a
ending on the
goal,
bad note.
and then there's my goal, and I go live it.
Are these some of the skills you teach at the Smart Women kind of thing?
Every week, you need to come.
It's for smart women.
It is for smart women.